Welcome to Vertical Presents webinar program. Through Vertical Presents, we deliver webinars that are designed to help you learn more about the many facets of communications. You can see what webinars are coming up by visiting vertical.com and navigating to the webinars link under the Learn tab. We will also send this information out after the meeting with our recording tomorrow. Today's webinar is on trends in government unified communications, and we are lucky to have Craig Garanda, our own SVP of Customer Experience, as our presenter. During today's webinar, please make sure your microphones are muted for the entirety of the session. If you do have a question, please enter it using the chat function. At the end of the webinar, Craig will answer all your questions. You can also follow up with us via email at webinar@vertical.com or vmarketing@vertical.com. Today's webinar is recorded. We'll send you a link tomorrow so that you can review sections or share the webinar with your colleagues, and you'll be able to access it through our Vertical Presents homepage. One final reminder to mute your microphone. And it is my pleasure now to turn things over to our SVP of Customer Experience, Craig. Craig, take it away.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining today. I'm very excited to talk about trends in government unified communications. We've got a pretty packed slide deck that we'll run through today. Any questions you have, please ask in the chat, and my colleagues will relay the questions to me and I can answer them, and we'll have time at the end to talk about questions and answers that you may have then also. So I'm going to dive right in. We're going to talk a little about vertical to start with. Then we're going to do a little start with why we're talking about this topic today. A little about what unified communications is, and the topic of unified communications and the definition of unified communications is changing. It's ever changing, as you'll see as what we talk about today. And then we'll dive into the trends in government unified communications, and we'll do a little recap at the end. So vertical has been around for over 40 years. We are very, very proud of the fact that we are a full strategic consultative partner with our customers. We are different in many ways. One of them is what we call a vertical difference, where we actually do all of the work with our partner service providers, for example, 8x8 or Ring Central. We don't just refer a customer to them and have them sell. We work with our customers to understand their needs, define the desired outcomes and the customer experiences that our customers want to deliver. We do the implementation, the support, the billing, and the customer lifecycle management. So we're very unique in that field, especially in cloud. And one of the ways we measure that is with Net Promoter Score. And Net Promoter Score is a pretty widespread, widely used methodology for determining how likely a customer is to recommend you to someone else that they know. And anything above a 40 is considered excellent. Anything above a 50 is considered world-class. And that's on a scale from -100 to 100. 83 is pretty unheard of. There are very few organizations in the world that score an 83. That's an indicator of how much we care and how much we invest in our customers and the relationships that we have with them. Part of that is we have a tremendous support team. And as you can see, we're nationwide. We have project managers, technical managers, support reps, technical engineers. We even come out on site. And that's very unusual for many companies today. But we have the staff, we have the expertise, and our philosophy is always to take care of the customers. Now, today we're talking about trends in government unified communications. We have a pretty good government practice, right? We have over 160 government customers, and that number is growing on a regular basis. So we really have developed an expertise working with all different types of governments, whether they're local, county, state, agencies. We really focus on making sure we have your needs understood and that we deliver for you. Because risk is one of those things, these projects can take on some risk. We want to de-risk your projects. We want to make sure we understand the outcomes and what's important. And not only listening to you, but we can offer our expertise to you. And we are proud to be members of these organizations at the bottom, the National Association of State Technology Directors. That's a pretty interesting organization to belong to, and we go to their meetings regularly and interact. And you get a big picture for what's important out there to higher level executives. And the NASCIO, so this table chart on the right, National Association of State CIOs. While we're talking about these trends today, you'll notice these are the top 10 priorities for state CIOs in 2024. We're going to touch upon quite a few of these. And if you go to our public website, vertical.com, and you click under government, you will see a lot of additional detailed information on this. So I'm going to continue to dive in. And this is the top line list of the trends that we're seeing in government UC. And why we're seeing these trends is very important also. So as I've outlined each of them here as a bullet point, we're going to dig into each of these bullet points on separate slides. So I'm not going to read these off. We're just going to go diving right into it. So the first trend that we see is there's a lot of end of life and end of sale support on existing systems. And what I wanted to do is highlight some of the architecture choices that are out there, and let's talk about what they are a little, and then where the business that we're doing with governments today, where is that trending? What are we seeing in working with the various governments that we're working with and the organizations? So the traditional PBX or an IP PBX, also known as voice over IP PBX, they stay on the left side of the equation here. And that's pretty well known, right? You can have physical servers, you can have virtualized servers, you can have a combination of both. They can be in your own premise facilities. They can be in a public cloud. They can even be in a private cloud, but it's based on a system that's dedicated to you. What we're seeing a tremendous trend is to move away from this traditional legacy PBX and even voice over IP PBX into cloud. And what I want to point out is there's really two types of cloud solutions in the market today. What's called native cloud and adapted cloud. Native cloud is something like RingCentral or 8x8 or GoTo. These are cloud architectures and companies that have started from scratch and built their own multi-tenant, highly available, highly scalable cloud ecosystems. Adapted cloud is where somebody has taken a premise-based solution and they've modified it and put it into the cloud. When we are seeing in the trends, what we are seeing is people want native cloud, not adapted cloud. So that's a very, very big trend. But additionally, we're also seeing the fact that we are doing some hybrid. And that hybrid could add functionality like applications. The big ones today are applications like artificial intelligence-based tools like Cognigy, where we can do voice and digital AI-based constituent self-service. But we're also seeing a hybrid solutions where people are using hybrid as redundancy. So those cover the three main categories, but by far the trend is toward cloud. And as I said at the bottom, you can replace or evolve, and you can do it all at once. You can do it at your own pace. That's part of the beauty of having flexible choices here and having working with a company to define what you're trying to achieve from outcomes, timeline, budget. All of those can be taken into account, but end of sale is the driving factor. Now, the like I said with cloud, PBX removal is what people are trying to accomplish as the high top line why reason or reason why they're going to replace their existing system. But we're also seeing in the work we're doing with various organizations, they want to replace faxing. They want to remove fax machines. I'm working on an opportunity with a city right now where they have 120 fax machines, and they want to eliminate 120 fax machines. All of these are at separate at multiple locations, and that adds quite a bit of cost, especially when the carriers are trying to reduce POTS lines. They want to get rid of POTS lines. So there's another reason, reducing the number of POTS lines and how to do that. Sometimes it can be done with migrating to the cloud or SIP trunks, but other times it can be done with POTS replacement devices. There are devices out there from several different companies that act as an analog interface or a SIP interface, but use cellular service. And they might also use your internet as a backup to the cellular service. So these are very, very common reasons. But we're also seeing things like call recording being end of life and call reporting solutions. Many times those are third-party devices, additional licensing, additional management interfaces, very, very compelling reasons to go out to determine what your next solution is going to be for your unified communications. And then the last reason that we see under end of life and sales support is not a direct end of life, but it ties into, if I don't need the PBX anymore, do I still need my PSTNs, circuits? Do I still need those contracts? So we can work with you to make sure that we're identifying all of those elements and incorporate them into the solution that we're proposing for you. So I wanted to take a minute to talk about what unified communications is. As I mentioned earlier, the definition is changing. So traditionally, the bullet points on the left are what you would consider to be included in unified communications. And voice and video, presence, texting, faxing, collaboration, even mobility, pretty standard features that are in unified communications. But that definition has evolved. Even contact center, an omni-channel contact center, is included in the definition of unified communications today. Many unified communications have functions like ring groups, hunt groups, call queuing, but a true omni-channel contact center means that you can do more than voice. You can do voice, you can do email, you can do social media, you can do self-service automation, a very, very extensive set of tools. And omni-channel designates that an interaction can start in any one of those channels and be promoted to another channel. So the customer experience is very clean and is very flexible for the customer. The AI-based tools are not just in the contact center, though. Companies like RingCentral are adding AI-based tools, and they call theirs RingSense, even into their core desktop and mobile applications for doing things like transcription in a video call. And they have tools that are part of the AI toolkit that can do things like sentiment analysis and summaries of calls. And these are extended now into more than just the collaboration or the video. They're actually available in voice if you wanted to do sentiment analysis for voice calls. Very powerful, very, very interesting in how it can be leveraged to improve the constituent experience, to improve the employee experience. And then as you see, there are other applications that have been added to our definition of unified communications, including IVRs, tremendous amount of application integration. Advanced analytics has become a very hot topic because measuring what is going on, the measurements have meaning. They allow you to make actionable decisions on how you evolve and improve your customer and constituent services, are right at your fingertips. And since this is what we're seeing here with the unified communications is typically the trend is in the cloud, you don't have to worry about servers. You don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to worry about all types of upgrades and things like that. It's not part of your responsibility. It's part of the cloud service provider's responsibility. And then the last one here is CPaaS, and CPaaS is Communication Platform as a Service. Things like mass SMS notification, very popular now, where you can use a browser-based interface with companies like 8x8 and create mass notifications that are part of the overall unified communications platform under the CPaaS label. So that diagram on the right on the previous slide was fairly simple. The diagram has gotten to be much more packed with feature and functionality. So UCaaS plus the contact center CCaaS plus the CPaaS and application integration really leads to constituent experience. And if it's in the cloud, constituent experience as a service. Now, you might use the term customer experience as a service. They're interchangeable for us because we deal with the commercial world and we deal with the public sector government world, but it is the same philosophy. How can you take care of the customer experiences, the constituent experiences you want to design and implement, and then how do you measure them and continue to evolve them? Okay, so we've set the stage. Now we can take a look at now that we've got a definition for unified communications that's been expanded, let's set the stage here with some of the additional features and functionality. And by far, the most often requested and the biggest trend, and this has been this way even before COVID, but COVID really accelerated this, work from anywhere on any device. And you can see by the chart on the right that it's pretty prevalent. And how can you make your team, number one, how can you enable your team to be a remote worker? Number two, how can you measure what they're doing? And number three, how can you make them productive? What tools do they need to continue to grow and evolve as they're remote workers and making an impact? We see this on desktops. We see it on whether it's a soft phone on the desktop or a traditional desk phones. We still see both. So the trend is not to eliminate all desk phones, but we do see a trend toward many more soft phones, and soft phones is a higher percentage. And on mobile devices, whether they're Apple or Android devices, the service providers are filling that need with applications that have the same, in many cases, and sometimes it's similar, but very feature-rich applications that do the same thing that the desktop application can do. So that's a very big trend. The other trends that we're seeing on this page are also showing up quite regularly. Video, collaboration, messaging, SMS, MMS, those are features that people expect, right? And as we're hiring people into the workforce, as we have people that are in the existing workforce, the expectations of the people that we work with have changed over the years. And especially as the workforce is bringing younger people, they expect to have SMS. They expect to have messaging. And every one of your constituents also expects you to be able to communicate with them in the ways that they want to be communicated with. So they might want to go to the website and have a chat session. They might want to call into a phone number and use an AI-based self-service automation bot. And we do that, and we see that all the time. It is very, very empowering. Some of the reasons why will show up in later slides. Call management flexibility is another very big reason that we see our clients moving into a new solution, especially a cloud-based solution. They want that flexibility to be able to deliver calls to individuals or groups of individuals and make that constituent experience one that is very low pain, easy to accomplish. They call in, they get routed to the right group or person. The reporting takes care of that in terms of being able to measure what's going on so you can evolve and improve the customer experiences you're delivering. But that's a very big factor today in reasons to migrate. And then, of course, analytics has been this theme throughout the entire presentation. It shows up all the time because with analytics, you can make those intelligent decisions. You can make informed decisions. Now, where work from anywhere is at the top of the list in terms of frequency, Microsoft Teams is not far behind. Teams integration is something that we run into on a regular basis. And when we're talking about Teams integration, we see direct routing, which provides the service provider dial tone and more to the PSTN. So when we do direct routing, the MS Teams client can make phone calls out to the PSTN, but it also leverages all of the other functionality that's in the service provider's PBX. So for example, call queues and ring groups. For example, analytics. For example, redundancy, because if your Teams client is down, you could use an 8x8 client or a Ring Central or GoTo client to be that interface that allows you to continue to work and communicate with people internally and your constituents. Now, Operator Connect is something we don't see and we don't see as frequently, but we still see it. And Operator Connect is pretty much straight dial tone. So the service provider becomes your connectivity to the PSTN, connects into and managed by your MS Teams admin console, and everything is dial tone based from the service provider delivery perspective. You don't get that failover. You don't get the additional applications for whether it's desktop or mobile. In case you want that as backup, it's fairly straightforward. But with Teams integrations, you need to find the service provider that can provide you with the functionality that you want. That's why it's very important to get hands-on with this, whether it's to see a demonstration or to think about doing a proof of concept to make sure it works the way you need it to work, and to work with somebody who has the expertise to deliver. And online faxing, removing fax machines, getting faxes delivered into someone's email box or a group email. Uh, Almost all of the service providers have plans that allow online faxing to be part of your license. It's just license based. All right. At this point, Julie, or do we have any questions at this point?
Not at the moment.
Okay, excellent. So the next group for trends is we of trends that we see fall into the category of constituent and employee experiences. And this is where we start to see a lot of requests now coming in to put in contact center. Now, multi-channel, we talked about omni-channel before. Multi-channel is a contact center that doesn't allow you to switch between an interaction from a chat to a phone call, or a phone call to a video. So we see primarily omni-channel, and that is a very, very important distinction to make, because it does change the dynamic of the customer or the constituent experience, allowing you to escalate or elevate an interaction between the two. But the entire contact center suite is very, very powerful. We could spend an entire webinar at the time of an entire webinar just on these first two bullet points here. Contact center solutions are very robust, and we handle contact center solutions as a full replacement in companies like 8x8 or Ring Central, where they have their own contact centers. So you can replace your PBX and the contact center together with an integrated solution. And at the bottom, you can see those types of integrated solutions offer significant financial benefits, right? And significant productivity benefits. But we also do a lot of hybrid contact centers. So we can integrate a hybrid contact center, whether it's a nice CX1 or 5.9, into virtually any PBX. And we've got that experience to be able to do that. In many cases, we're replacing contact center. The trend is to replace it with a cloud-based contact center. In many cases, we're putting contact center in for the first time. With constituent self-service, virtually no one has an AI-based constituent self-service solution in place, or if they do, it's a very basic solution. So these are more of a greenfield opportunity, and we do a lot of consulting work on this bullet point, right? Design, implement, measure, evolve. How do you exceed customer and constituent experiences? What should they be? This is where we like to talk about the crawl, walk, run philosophy. You don't want to try to move everything at one time into constituent self-service automation. So we can start with something basic. It might be being able to expand support to 365, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for information, for example, for your schedule for a garbage pickup or a beach pass, or maybe an appointment to come down to the health clinic. We do all of those, and we can demonstrate those for you because we've built a virtual city hall where we have a number of services that allow us to show you how it would work, whether it would be a voice interaction or a digital interaction, a chat interaction. Now, when we start to see these types of requests coming in, we see them and we go back to the why. Many of these are in an effort to employ constituent self-service, is to improve employee or workforce productivity. right? There are many repetitive calls that you get during the day that can be automated into an automated self-service bot. Well, that removes those repetitive tasks off of the plate of the employee and allows them to work on higher value interactions. Now we're going to see in a couple of slides, we're going to talk about the financial impacts. This is a huge financial impact. We often measure the return on investment in terms of months with these solutions, not years. Now, in the entire, here we go back to full analytics again, another recurring theme in the trends, to be able to have actionable information that's easy to get, and you can access it by going out there and manually accessing it. But most of these systems today allow you to schedule the delivery of the reports that you want to see, allow you to put up dashboards or workspaces for agents and supervisors. And the trend that we're just starting to see, and we're just starting to see this with one of our service providers, 8x8, is licensing for contact center functionality for those people that are not agents and not supervisors. So the definition of an agent is changing a bit, because it doesn't mean that agent has to be logged into a queue waiting for a phone call or a chat or an email. So we're going to see more of that, I'm sure, and that maybe I need to bring someone else into this interaction, this call, perhaps, that doesn't sit logged in as an agent, but I need them as a resource to help the constituent with questions or finding a solution. So it's very exciting time in that we're getting a lot of innovation coming in, and all of it's tied in through the common thread through it all is tied in through the analytics. Now, another type of analytics that we're seeing people start to use are sentiment analysis. And sentiment analysis basically looks at every voice call, and it looks for phrases and terms. It can pick up on the sentiment of those conversations and provides you with useful analytics tools to be able to analyze and make decisions on what's happening. So you can look at it from a global perspective. You can look at it from a call queue perspective, or even individual calls. And in the contact center, you can look at it through all of the services that you're offering. Okay, what's that next topic? Reduce difficulty of management and maintenance. Oh, this is a huge one, right? The old interface on the bottom left here that I found on the internet, very cumbersome, not very intuitive, very difficult to learn on, requires a lot of experience. You have a lot of things that are just alien to most people, whereas you look at the Ring Central service interface, the management interface, all of the things that you do that are common, all the things that you do that are common are right out in shortcuts. And there's a built-in help window. And that built-in help window allows you to ask a question, and it will give you an answer within seconds. But the other part of this is you get to remove all of the servers, all of the software and maintenance contracts, even the circuits. Reducing that management level means that you don't have to be experts in phone systems anymore. You don't have to be experts in unified communications. You can be trained to manage the system without needing to be that full-time expert at the system. Even things like upgrades are seamless and transparent. Now, whether you want to self-administer or self-manage or not, that's your choice, but they've made it easy enough to do. And we get back to the recurring theme again of of analytics, but also data management. Where do you want to store those call recordings if you're recording calls? Where do you want to put all of that information? Well, the service providers provide those tools and options for you. You don't have to worry about integrating another storage warehouse for that or integrating it to another server. It's all done in the cloud seamlessly. The same with call recordings. And not only recording them, but the retrieval and analysis of the call recordings, including sentiment, are part of the trends that people are seeing because it's driving that customer constituent experience to higher levels. But what's been also found is that providing higher levels of service to your constituents improves the trust that your constituents have with your local governments, with your county governments, and so on. And that's very, very important factor. Okay, so now financial considerations. This is another one of the top line sections that we're talking about. We can measure total cost of ownership. And when you're looking at your legacy system, the formula of all the things that make up total cost of ownership is right there for you. But we're seeing a lot of our customers start to consider return on investment, productivity improvements in the workforce, ability to not need full dedicated staff working on management. There are a number of factors on return on investments, the duration of calls, for example, the ability to do self-service automation. These all impact return on investments, and making sure that you are considering those elements is a great way to to understanding the financial impact of your decisions, but it's also a great way to validate the success of your project and your implementation, both short-term and long-term. Hardware obsolescence. This goes back to that slide about end of life, end of sale, but there's no more hardware obsolescence. Everything is in the cloud. You're not managing that. So there's no need to think about, oh, in 6 years, I'm going to have to get new servers or server operating systems and licenses and all of those components. Just not there. And then server software upgrades not there, as I said, they're just not there. And then the cloud solutions is not up to you. So what we're really looking at is value. That's the bottom line. What value is this going to bring to you and to your constituents? Now, the image that I put down here on the left and the right, I'm sorry, left and the center, abandonment, call abandonment rates with and without using an IA-based intelligent customer or intelligent virtual assistant. And what we find is there's less abandonment rates. When people hang up, they're going to call back. When people hang up, they get angry, they get mad, they get frustrated, and it trickles down through the entire interaction. By architecting a solution that takes into account all of the different channels of communication, you can offer your customers options that give them the level of support and service and the customer experience that they would expect. And that is a positive benefit to everyone. So we're getting toward the end here. Security and privacy permeates pretty much everything we do. And you can look at the trend moving to cloud puts a huge part of the security and privacy responsibilities on the service provider. And you want to make sure that the service provider you pick is not only certified, but they're verified by a certified third party. Things like SOC 2 compliance or NIST 800-53, right? You want to make sure that if that's important to you, that you highlight that, or you work with a consultative strategic partner who will help you to identify which you need to include in your requirements. Are they doing audits and compliance? Because being certified and then not doing penetration testing and audits on a regular basis might not give you the level of comfort that you need. So we work with service providers who do that. And what's their transparency? Do they give you a dashboard to look at the uptime, the reliability, security? What's their response time on letting you know when there's a problem? It should be very timely. They should have that as part of your contract, not only the service level agreement for uptime, but their policies for letting you know when there are issues. And the last, which is very important in this space, US-based data. Your data should stay in the US, fully encrypted, in transit, and at rest. And so we make sure that when we're talking to customers, we make sure we highlight that. Okay, so this is my last slide. And this is the one that I think we don't see enough in the trends. So I'm just highlighting this to make sure that you understand that these are considerations. You can go directly to a service provider like a Ring Central or GoTo or a Dialpad or any of the service providers out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, they are not set up to be a full service solution, strategic, consultative partner. They're set up to help you make the decision, to get it implemented, and to provide support through their global support mechanism. When you go with a strategic partner, some of the things that you want to look for are a partner that is that type of strategic consultant partner that does more than give a referral to a service provider and let the service provider team do all the work, right? Also, enterprise support is a factor that I see overlooked quite a bit. Now, if you go with a strategic consultative partner who is doing the work, for example, vertical, what a service provider would call enterprise support and charge you extra for is just part of vertical's standard support that's included with the licensing that you get. That's a huge factor. And all of the support is being delivered through vertical badged employees in the US, another huge factor. Product management. This is another factor that is a very big differentiator, but many people tend to not dive deeply enough into this in their requirements. Is your project manager certified, PMP certified? What does the implementation actually look like? So when you're going to adopt this technology, what's included? Are you getting a full statement of work and solution overview? Is it on site? Is it remote? What happens on first day? What happens during the first 90 days when you start to learn and you need things addressed and addressed quickly? You don't need to go hunting for resources, and it's not a support team issue for the technical support team. It's still a project manager issue, but you might have signed off on your statement of work and now you're kicked over to support. Find a partner. Whoops, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button there. Find a partner that can provide all of these components technical support is a great area that differentiates strategic partners from resellers, or referral partners, I should say, who just refer you to the service provider. We operate a very highly skilled support desk, and people typically know who you are and can help you because they have a deeper knowledge of you as a customer. And billing is another one. Billing is an area where if you're not happy with your billing, if the billing process is convoluted, if you can't understand your bill, it can add to a lot of angst and a lot of confusion. Evaluate the billing. And then how do you stay connected? The evolution. Does that partner have a resource, for example, a solution engineer who stays assigned to your account through the life of your account? So when updates come out, when you have questions, when you need assistance, will you have that sales and technical and engineering resource available to you? Because at the end of the day, to make a decision to go with a new solution, you're really looking to make sure you have clarity and confidence in the service provider's capabilities and commitment, but also your partner's capabilities and commitment. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for attending. Angela, do you have any closing comments that you need to make?
Yeah, I was just going to also thanks to everybody for jumping on and joining us at Vertical. We believe that knowledge is power. We wanted to ensure that that you are well informed as you make your changes to your communication system. That's why we create the custom content for you to use. Hey, feel free to visit us at our Vertical presentation page, and for the free webinars, our Vertical blog for content on every aspect of communications. You can also subscribe to the Vertical broadcast and receive updates in your inbox. If you need assistance, we're here for you. We can help you with your current or new system. Feel free to visit us at vertical.com, call or email us to get started. That's it. Thanks for joining us today. Keep an eye out for our next upcoming webinar for AI series coming to you late summer, early fall.
Thanks, Angela.
Thanks, everybody.